You are listening to the Two Fans and a Bandwagon podcast. And we are two fab.
And we are live with another 0.5 episode. Matt and Dan, two fab, coming at you.
Hello, everybody.
We're going to do another thought-provoking, cheesy ball questions and just dig deep into life here. What do you say? That's a good idea or what?
Let's get into it.
All right. I looked up some cornball questions online.
All right, where are you taking me, my friend?
Now I'm being selective. I should just dive in. I shouldn't be selective, don't you think? Here are the top 5.
Yeah, dive in.
Best thought-provoking questions. At what point are we good enough? When are we self-improved enough to accept ourselves? And then I'll add on to that. Have you reached that point?
Oh, wow.
Deep, eh? Much
yeah,
depth.
You might have to give me a second.
Much depth. I'll start then if you want to think. I don't want to overwhelm your thoughts, so you don't even have to listen to me if you want to think about your answer.
I'm thinking. What are you thinking?
Okay. At what point are we good enough? I think that is a very societal question, and I think a lot of people base their worth and what good enough is to them on what society feels. And when are we self-improved enough to accept that? Probably when we reach what we think society thinks it wants us to be. I think when you reach a point of not paying attention to what society dictates is when you truly reach that point of being able to accept yourself. As soon as you can get rid of all that nonsense and noise coming from media, whether it be, physically or mentally, what you look like or how you think. The news likes to tell you what to think. Newspapers and magazines like to tell you what you think. They also like to tell you how to look. When you can put those things aside, I think that's when you can truly accept yourself. Beat that answer, bud.
You know what? I would agree with you on almost all of that. I think it comes along with time. It comes along with age. It definitely comes along with growing into your own skin. And it's going to sound like a cliche, but I think you got to be able to deep down love yourself before you can love anybody else.
Yeah.
So once you can accept that, definitely. I think you're definitely on the right track.
Cliches are a thing because they're true in a lot of cases, though.
You're absolutely right. I think there's a couple hiccups along the way to this because it all revolves around maturity, right? How do you get past 6th, 7th, 8th grade? How do you transition into 9th grade? How do you get to, grade 12? How are you responsible for college and university when you're 17, 18 years old? How do you deal with the opposite sex? Having enough money, not having enough money. As long as you're getting better every day, I think that's where you have to go because there's always room for improvement. And we're just scratching like the top of the subject here. There's so many other factors that are going to affect all of us coming into this situation. And I think the nature versus nurture is a heavy way to go with this one. And I'm completely tossed up. And I've talked to many people I like and admire about this subject. And I really am drawn on where it takes you and how you become, I don't want to say how you become a better person, but how you deal with the nature and nurture and how you can promote growth from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's completely amazing, even within, the same household, the same family, the same set of cousins, when you're all drawing from the same gene pool, how we all end up being so different.
Mm-hmm. I think what I want to draw from all that is right at the start, you talked about age has a huge factor on answering that question as to what point we are good enough and when we are self-improved enough. When we are good enough, we accept ourselves. Just to paraphrase the question is, your talk of, becoming mature and aging kind of goes hand in hand with everything I said. Meaning, as you age and you get older, you realize to put all that bullcrap aside and, accept yourself. Right? And then you touched on the fact that you never can truly, either care for someone or love someone or find happiness until you're happy with yourself or you love yourself or, as you said, all those cliche things. I think we're both on the right path there, but you went a little further and started to go into family units or people being related to each other differing so immensely within one setting. Where do you tie that in with, being good enough or accepting yourself? What's your thought process of bringing up that with the other subject? Is it the idea that your surroundings, I don't know where I'm going with this. You're I guess I'm having a hard time understanding bringing up that last point you made with, a family unit differing so much has to do with that. Not to I know you were just going off on a tangent. I'm just struggling to, I know it all made sense as you spewed it all out, but I think we kind of got off topic.
I think we can definitely run with this subject for a while, but the nature nurture.
That's what it was.
Is
you immediately answered it.
Yeah. When you have when you have 2 or 3 siblings coming from the same family with the same parents, and you think you're all incurring the same environment, I don't know what is fair to say. That you have more people turning out the same because they are in the same environment, or everybody is different because they get nurtured differently from being a boy to being a girl, from being the oldest to being the baby of the family, and what effects that plays on your perception of what you are and what it turns you into.
Right. Huh. Okay, next question. That's, as you say, we could probably talk about that and go off on a left tangent forever. Oh man, this one's real corny. What in life is beautiful to you? Where do you find your inspiration?
Oh my God.
Let's just get a straight answer. What in life is beautiful to you? Well, I'll ask you the first one. What in life is beautiful to you? And you could take that wherever you want, whether that's figuratively or literally.
Okay. I am going to go with I'm going to go with friendships are beautiful.
Oh.
Music is beautiful.
Oh.
And art is beautiful.
Wow. Okay. That's kind of hard to top. I won't answer that one. I'll move on to the next one in the question.
Okay.
And where do you find your inspiration?
Go ahead.
And yeah, I'll add to that. So where do you find your inspiration, and do you pull from those three things that you just mentioned for your inspiration? Like, do they go hand in hand?
I think they totally do go hand in hand. Yeah. The friendship gets everybody going and keeps everybody going.
Mm-hmm.
And to whatever degree you experience friendship or the depths of those friendships, I don't think it's like a quality versus quantity thing, because you can derive from every relationship you have what you need and learn from people that you bring into your life. Going back to your first question, I think we tend to gravitate to people who are like us, and that would confirm your thoughts on yourself and your thoughts on them. And when you draw somebody into that circle who is not like you, it's a matter of, sorting out the poison versus the privilege that you could run into among people who aren't like you, and learn and take from either the poison or the privilege which one's going to enhance your friendship and your life, and how you can consume one and not be taken over by the other.
Wow. Deep. I like it. You want to know my answer?
I do, sir. Fire away.
I know it's beautiful to me. Playboy bunnies. No, I'm just kidding. And where do I find my inspiration? The centerfold. No. I really like your friendship answer. I went with just like the complete vanity one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Come on, I gotta be a little funny. No.
You are a little funny.
Life needs more humor. Hey, but there's a good answer. What's beautiful in life? Humor, laughter, right? But no, I think friendship really works well, especially with the second part of the question, inspiration, right? Like what drives you to get up in the morning? That's what getting up in the morning requires inspiration. I don't care if the alarm is your inspiration, beeping in your ear to say, get up, get up, get up. Just getting up in the morning, you need some kind of motivation, and motivation comes from inspiration. And I think friends and family can really, answer both those questions.
Absolutely.
Your friendships are beautiful, and you can get a lot of inspiration from them. You know what I mean? Why else are we doing this podcast, right? We're friends. We inspire each other to do so, to have these conversations, whether it be about sports or whether it be about corny stuff like this, cheesy. Next question. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, hold on. I got to read this clear. Hold on. If you were a genie, oh my God, we're going down this road. If you were a genie and a person asked you this wish, I wish you would not grant me this wish, what would you do? Does that make any sense?
Yes, that question makes sense. Because typically the first question is going to be, grant me 3 more questions.
Okay.
So you can get 6.
If you were double up.
And then the second one is going to be,
this isn't a grant. Hold
give
on.
me $10 billion.
I don't know if we're understanding this right, because this is just the grant 3 wishes question that you're answering. But I don't think it's asking that. If you were a genie and a person asked you this wish, so like you're a genie and you go, grant me 3, like I grant you 3 wishes, what's your first wish? And then the person tells you, I wish you would not grant me this wish. It's like a reverse card in Uno. Flipped it back at you, right? You see what I'm saying? There's more to it than just like, what are your 3 wishes? Like, I wish for $1 million. So if you were a genie, so I'm a genie, and I say to you, I grant you 3 wishes, Matt. And then you tell me, I wish you would not grant me that wish. What would you do? So being a genie, you have all the power in the world to give someone 3 wishes, and then they throw back at you that they don't want wishes. How do you react?
I have no idea. I was not ready for this.
It's a lot.
Go for it.
It's a lot
I'm
deeper.
stuck.
Hold on. I got a good what do they call that? Like an analogy or a metaphor? I always forget the difference between the two. What's the difference between the two? When you're comparing something directly to something, is that a metaphor or analogy?
You want to
I always struggle.
have a metaphor.
Okay, sure. We'll call it that. I don't know if that's right. I'll take your word for it. Here's the metaphor for it. Here's $1 million, because that's essentially what 3 wishes are, right? You're going to want money. You're going to want wealth. You're going to want riches. So, Matt, here's $1 million. And you say to me, I don't want your $1 million. That's essentially what this question's asking, right? So you offered me $1 million and I say, I don't want it. How do you react? What do you do?
I am going to...
I already got my answer.
Yeah, I'm going to force it to hand it to the person behind you. Hand over your wish. Hand over your $1 million.
Oh, man. That's hilarious. I didn't even think about that. My reaction would just be like, "Are you insane?" But I guess that it's asking for you to do something and not have a reaction. So I think your answer is better. Yeah. Okay, then give those wishes to someone else then, or pick someone to give the wishes to. Nice, good answer. See, we eventually got to the root of the question, because I was just as confused as you were to start. As soon as I heard genie, I thought the same thing. Oh, it's the stupid 3 wishes question. Huh. Oh, see, that's funny. I got this third one. I read it, so I understood it before I asked it. Why does your nose run, but your feet smell? It's almost like a dad joke, but it's an actual question.
Oh my god.
I told you these were cheesy.
Okay, you definitely caught me off guard.
Seriously
That's bad, dude.
cheesy. The synopsis of this question, because there's like a little like synopsis behind each one, and like because they're thought provoking, was this is a fun question that makes you think about the nature of language. And I think is this problem not only a problem in like the English language, or do other languages have these issues, or is this just a English thing? Because I know that English, like when you speak another language, is often a very hard language to grasp and learn, because we have the there and theirs of the world.
Right.
So yeah, it might be confusing.
I have heard that as well.
Might be confusing to someone who has spoke Spanish their whole life and they're just introduced to English for the first time. Not a lick of it. And then your nose is running, your feet are smelling. How do they say it? Or is this just an English issue? I don't know.
Yeah, I think English leans itself to being the most lost in translation, where everything else would be a lot more literal.
Right. I think there's probably like a real, like, I'm sure there's a word for what you're describing. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'll research that and get back to you.
Yeah, I'll be waiting. All right, next one. Here we go. There's a long list of these, so we could probably go all night because they're pretty funny. Okay, but they're good. The first one really, I got into some depth there with the, how do we accept ourselves? Question number 5, Matt. Can you dream?
Fire away.
Can you dream of having a dream? Inception. You ever see Inception?
I have. But why couldn't you not have a dream inside a dream? It's only as deep as your subconscious wants you to unravel something for yourself anyways, right?
Wow, that's in depth. I just want to say how dyslexic I can be. When I first seen that, I read, "Can you dream of your dream home?" That's how bad my dyslexia is. Can you dream of your dream home? I read the word having as home, I suppose. I don't know. But can you dream of having a dream? I wonder if that means in the context of, like in like layers of depth, like in your dream, you're dreaming of having a dream. And then underneath that little question, it says, how deep into dreams within dreams can you go? Have you ever experienced a lucid dream?
Oh my gosh.
I know that I have.
Dude.
And I have quite often. And they generally happen when I'm like waking up. I'm sure that's the same for everyone. But like I've been able to force, I don't know if it's an actual like talent or a skill set that not a lot of people have, but I guess I feel like it's pretty normal. I've like woken up in the middle of a good dream and then told myself what to do in my dream, like consciously, like laying in bed going like, okay, you're in bed, but this is a really fun opportunity to keep doing whatever it is that I'm doing. Playing a hockey game, and I'm on the ice with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I can throw myself back into that dream. Are you able to do that?
Yeah, I would have to say I've had them. Because it's telling me that you're aware of your dream, and I don't know if it actually says you're in control of your dreams.
Yeah.
But you're aware of your dreaming. I would have to say the really, really good ones were like that.
Yeah.
And then the normal to moderate ones are the ones where it's just a dream and
you wake up. Yeah. Yes. So then I guess you're a similar situation. Yeah, you're in a good dream, like man, and you kind of just slightly come into consciousness, realize you're dreaming, like, oh shit, and then say, no, I'm gonna keep dreaming because this is fun, or whatever I'm doing I'm having a good time. So you throw yourself back into it. I think I actually had one this morning, but I threw myself back into like treachery. Like I was,
I've done that before.
Like I was like falling or something, and I kept throwing myself back into a falling situation. I obviously dreams, you don't remember them too much, but it was something of that nature. Huh. All right, moving on in this sporadic questionnaire.
Yeah.
Oh, unless you want to keep touching on the dream. No. You had a thought. Don't put that thought away. Tell me it.
Well, I was just gonna say that I rarely remember my dreams, but the more vivid and whimsical, or the least amount of sense it makes in reality compared to what was coming out of my subconscious, those ones I remember. And that's like maybe 3 or 4 a year.
Yeah.
For the most part, I don't recall them like 5 minutes after waking up.
110% agree with you. Yeah, 3 to 4 years, a good number, if that, right? Of the ones that you recall, like, that was a good dream. And I think, those are probably the most common ones where you do pull off that lucid dream where you can go in and out of it, in and out of conscious, and play around with it, or get back to the task at hand, whatever it might be. All right, here we go. Question 6.
Fire away.
Question 6. This has 10 questions, so I think we'll go to 10, and then we can wrap it up or elaborate on some of the stuff we talked about. When did your life change for the better? Was there a specific moment? Was it a gradual process, or are you still awaiting that change? I have a thought in my head of what you're gonna say. When you say it, I'm gonna freak out. No pressure.
Oh wow. Okay, I feel like a ton of pressure there. Dude, I've got so many answers racing through my
Is that
mind.
one of
How
those
about
things
you go first?
when you tell
When did
someone
your
when
life
you
get
tell
better?
someone no pressure, there's
Just
automatically
add the
pressure.
pressure right on.
It's my
Automatically
bad.
pressure.
My bad. I should have just kept my mouth shut and reacted the way I was going to react. When did my life change for the better? Was there a specific moment, gradual process, or is there still awaiting that change? I would say I'm still awaiting that change. I feel like, as depressing and sad as this is, my life hasn't got better. It's just gotten worse. That's a very mental statement, like in my head. Like, that's not like, obviously, I have a good job. I have a car, I have a house. My life's still way better than a ton of people on this earth. But just from like a mental standpoint, don't feel like my life has gotten any better or changed. If anything, it's gotten worse, you know? It's I had a lot more fun when I was younger, you know, whatever that may have been, you know, partying, playing sports, whatever. Life has gotten mundane, and, you know, you work the 9 to 5s 5 days a week, and you only get to hang out with your friends. Is this answer pandemic driven? The fact that we haven't lived life normally in over, like, let's say 12 plus months now. Could be that too. But yeah, that's probably my answer right now. It hasn't gotten better. There wasn't a specific. There were points in times in life where like it changed for the better at that point in time, but currently no. Nothing.
Nothing, eh?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna pick if I could like pick like specific moments where it changed for the better. Like graduating high school was great.
Okay.
Moving in with my friend at a young age, being away from my parents was a lot of fun. Moments like getting your first car and all that kind of stuff. But there's no like jaw-dropping, life-changing moment where like I'm like, that is the moment. And then as for like gradual change, it's gradually gotten more mundane and 9 to 5. So.
Oh man, I want to say that kind of falls in line with like your first two questions, like when are we good enough, or when do you feel you're good enough, or when do you feel you've improved enough?
True.
But you know me well enough to judge me on this one, and you brought it up last time about my sense of worry, my sense of time, my sense of panic. And before COVID, I probably wouldn't have understood what anybody was referring to when they talk about anxiety. And I think being in the middle of this pandemic, I've definitely had it touch on me here and there throughout this whole last 12 or 14 months. But I think, if you want to call me lackadaisical for lack of a better term, I think there's always room for improvement. I think there's always time to get better. But I mean, if you were asking for defining moments, I could probably rhyme off a few for you. But to say one definite thing over another, because I think they're like building blocks or stepping stones. You just keep working to them no matter what.
Yeah, so it's a gradual, right?
Yeah. I would say if you're not... Oh, man. Nope, you've got me, man. I'm gonna have to come back to this one.
Yeah. I think for most people, it's a gradual change, right? Like, you'll have those people that be like, it was meeting my wife changed my life, and good for them. Or having my kids. Those are always the cliche ones. Getting a specific job, it could be a life-changing moment. But for someone who lives like a, modern, normal life, as we say, like, you go to your 9 to 5 job, you have your car, you have your rent payment, your mortgage payment, blah, blah, blah. Those jaw-dropping, life-defining moments are probably far and few between, and yeah, it's probably more gradual, right? I think my gradual process has declined. It's my point, though. Like, life was so much freer and fun, and like, ignorance is bliss as a kid, right? You don't know, man. They all warn you. Every adult you meet is like, life sucks. Life is what you make it, though. So don't dwell on that.
No, you can't. You can't dwell on it, but you got to keep looking forwards. And I think it's going to come down to, you know what, if you haven't married the dream person or found the dream job or have the dream amount of money or live in your dream home, it's all based on your goals and where your goals were when you were young, and again, probably how you were influenced by your household. This one's definitely deserves a lot more thought.
Oh yeah, like probably a whole episode just on that conversation.
I think so.
Right? Like, yeah, because you could go through it step by step. Especially if we don't have those jaw-defining moments, right? I mean, you have kids, so I'm sure that was quite an experience, and but that's an obvious one, right? You don't want to use that as your answer, although it's a valid answer for most people, right?
I would think so.
Question 7. This is a fun one. For me, I'm going to break our rule that we set for the start. What is your personal heaven? I'll tell you, it's changed from like being a teenager to now. Personal heaven for me. I'll start this one off because I already had an answer the minute I read the question. Definitely, and we said we said we wouldn't bring up sports, but I'm bringing them up, man. It's definitely sports related because I'm such a freaking nerd when it comes to that. It would be like sitting in a arena, Stanley Cup Game 7, a certain franchise playing for the chance to win it for the first time in over 50 years. That's on my head, the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that would be like my personal heaven. Like being at Stanley Cup Game 7, it's kind of similar energy to like when Austin Matthews scored that goal to take us to overtime at the game we went to. That energy. That's my personal heaven, man. Or not being there and just getting to witness it. Watching the Toronto Maple Leafs lift the Stanley Cup would be my personal heaven. And that is all I really want or need in my life. I've been wanting for 20 plus years. my whole existence. I remember being like a 3-year-old playing hockey on my back patio, skating, running breakaways with my little ball hockey mini stick into the net, celebrating as the Toronto Maple Leafs won the cup. I'm talking like I was a toddler when I was doing that, and I still have that memory in my brain. So it's been a lifetime personal heaven want. I'll tell you, my teenage one was a lot more like dirty. There were probably some other thoughts in there. I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
Now it's all about sports.
I thought you were gonna go somewhere that the answer was going to be that your personal heaven would be when you felt comfortable enough to bring a child or two into this world so you could have your own children and raise them in a world you want to raise them in
Oh,
and
man.
not be apprehensive about the world you're going to raise them in now.
That's
where I thought you were going to go.
That's super deep. It's not that deep. That would be fantastic, but I wouldn't call that my heaven because I have no, at the moment, desire for that. So that is probably why. I can't. Maybe there is a marginal desire. Like I mean, I think everyone has those thoughts as they get older. Even when they're young, they have those thoughts. What it would like to be a parent. Some people dive head on into it because that's all they want in life, and good for them. But I have yet to reach that point to take that step, and I don't think that would be at all my heaven. My heaven is a lot more personal. It has to do with this stupid hat on my head. Oh, man. Is that sad? I don't know, man. That might be sad. That's my idea of like heaven. The New England Patriots would have no Super Bowls in my heaven as well. The New England Patriots would have never won a Super Bowl in my heaven.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Sorry, I sports. I brought the sports up. I'm sorry. What's your personal heaven? I know I talked a lot there, but
man. You know what? Like, as good as I think my life is, or as good as I'm sure other people think I can improve my life and my life could be better, I'll go that I'm happy with what's going on now. Like you said, there's a lot of people that have it far worse than I do. Again, I don't want to sound like a cliche, but what about being able to cut out sexism or racism? Because I think a lot more people would benefit from that, and this world is probably one of the best times to be alive in now for what we can do, but it's also amazing at how slow some changes take to actually come to fruition.
So what you're saying is your heaven is more vast and not as personal.
Definitely.
You'd
I'm
rather
gonna think
see like
global.
more global like effects, like the world peace, for example, is more your heaven than seeing something for personal joy. Well,
I think world peace is definitely a big chunk. But if we could end racism, you would definitely lead in that direction.
Very noble.
But what's the best thing to do? Yeah.
Very, very noble. Unfortunately for me, and for all those people out there suffering from racism and sexism, I want the Maple Leafs to win the cup. So, oh man. See, yours is such like a. I think I chose the right word in noble. Such a noble answer. I was trying to elaborate on that, but I think that's the right word. Okay, moving on. Me and my stupid.
Okay, move on, my friend.
Stupid hockey brain. How do you manage your stress, Matt? I know you kind of touched on this, and we kind of touched on it last time with you mentioned being lackadaisical, but how do you manage your stress, like on a deeper level, I guess?
Well, I'm going to go with I try not to let it in. When it gets in and it bothers me, probably a good talk.
Yeah.
A good walk.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a run. But I definitely think I definitely think talking it through with someone is definitely the most viable way for me to handle stress.
Definitely. I think that's
But having said that, I think I've got like the best fucking friends in the world that a guy could ask for. So I mean, I've got lots of shoulders and lots of ears. So I think I'm good on that front to cover what stress I have and how I deal with it.
yeah, no doubt. And I think that, like, for anyone that doesn't manage their stress with a conversation, it's the best way to blow off steam. Not necessarily everyone does that, right? The question is, how do you manage your stress? But yeah, I think the correct answer for everyone should be having a conversation and just talking it out. And you can benefit a lot from that, you know, that shoulder to talk to, that shoulder to cry on. You know what I mean? It goes a long way. Myself, I'm the same as you. I just don't let it in to begin with. And when it does get to me, that's a tough one because I could let things eat at me for a long time before I do anything like on a deeper level. But I think the correct answer is I blow off steam by talking it out. You know, go to yourself at work, or go to talk to Terry about something that's stupid, or something that's getting to my skin. But it's very rare that does happen. I guess maybe I'm lucky in that regard that I don't sweat the small stuff. I also have a fantastic filter of, I mean, you might not know this because when we leave work, I still talk about work, but it's because it's something we have so much common, and maybe it is me blowing off my steam, so I do talk to you about it subconsciously. But when I come home, the minute I walk out of the door at work, which might be one of the bigger stresses in most people's life is work, it stays there. I don't bring it with me. And then vice versa. If there's something bugging me at home, I generally don't bring it to work. My home life isn't very stressful, so that's easy. But work for most people can get under your skin, right? Like, everyone has issues with work, unless you got that dream job, man. But even then, a dream job has stress. I don't know if I actually answered the question. I think I did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you did.
I'll talk it out.
Yeah, I think a lot of the problem with stress, if it comes from work, is consider the source of the problem, or consider the source of the information or the misinformation. I think that if you take that from work to personal life, I think that definitely is a help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can slow you down. Oh man, this one's really way too much to probably dig into, but I'll mention it and then we can probably brush on the subject. But man, this is a deep one. Get ready for this, guy. You're gonna sit there with a confused look on your face for 20 seconds. I already know it. Question number 9. What do you believe stands between you and complete happiness? Oh my God. That's so deep. Like, is it the simplest answer? Is like $1 million in the bank? Everyone says money doesn't buy happiness, right? And I'm a firm believer that it really doesn't, but I think it could take a massive stress load off you and remove... It could help remove stress, but I don't think it buys happiness, right? Money. Breathe it out. Think about it. Come on now. I'll keep talking until you get an answer. I'm good at that. What do you believe stands between you? This one should have been the crescendo. This should have been the finisher, but there's one more really stupid one after it. I don't even know the answer to this, and I don't think I've ever thought about this. And I think the answer to it is, does complete happiness even exist? Because there's always sorrow and sadness on the other side of happiness, right? And you can't have happiness without it, so you need it, right? That's a great balancing act. How do you know happiness and complete happiness without having lived complete dread and sorrow? Right?
Absolutely on that one.
So I don't think
Absolutely.
my answer is it doesn't exist, and I want $1 million. That's my answer.
Oh my God. Yeah, some money would be okay. Too much money would be a problem. You can't have happiness without having known sadness and sorrow.
Exactly.
I'm still willing to bet if we are meant to be monogamous, the right partner at that time for you in your life that brings you together and you can create that happiness, whether it takes you, one partner, 3 partners, 5 partners throughout your lifespan, they are both going to be followed by sadness and sorrow, but you'll probably live on a very long high while you're satisfied.
Oh, man, that's probably the perfect answer. Yeah. Yeah, what stands between you and complete happiness is probably exactly that. Right, the right friends, the right life partner, and no financial worries in this world we live in. Whatever you said.
I think that summarizes it nicely.
There we go. It just came through. I'm getting a little bit of lag again. Okay, man. Now that we asked the biggest, does God exist question ever, let's wrap it up with question number 10. Another cornballer. What is one thing you wish to accomplish before you die? And the key word is one. What is the most important item on your bucket list?
Wow. All right.
I told you, man, these are the top 10 thought-provoking questions out there, man. Some real bangers. And this could be very deep in regards to like bringing, relationship involvement into it, or this could be just as shallow as I did saying the Leafs winning the cup. But I guess it has to be something you're in control of because it's a bucket list thing, right? It has to be something that you need to do before you die. What do you need to do before you die? Once. Woo! That's a hard one. I don't even know, man. I've never even thought about this. There's like some stupid ones. There's some stupid ones like concerts I want to go to, and like I don't think I have like on my bucket list. There's there's concerts and like events to go to and tasks to accomplish, like climb a mountain, and all that kind of stuff. Not like that's on my bucket list, but those are your standard bucket list items. I don't think there's one thing I have that's like, man, I gotta do that before I die.
The list. That's a bucket list. Wow.
Do you not have a bucket list? Because I certainly don't. I do for concerts and like sporting events and like go to a Super Bowl once and travel places. I think saying travel just answered my the one that always has surfaced, because taste in music and taste in sport can constantly change, right? You could be the young rock and roll kid, and then all of a sudden you develop a taste for rap, and then 10 years later you're into jazz. You change mentally, and so does your taste in music. And then same thing with what you might choose to watch on TV, whether that be sport or drama TV shows. The one thing that has never changed my whole life is wanting to go to Australia. I think that would be freaking cool as. My mom had that one with Hawaii. She always wanted to go to Hawaii her whole life. She was able to do it like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it took her till she was, in her 60s. So to say that I have time. But yeah, I think going to Australia, there's my answer. Final answer, lock it in. Going to Australia. I think it's just their culture and I compare them to like the Canadians of that side of the world. You know what I mean? I feel like their culture and the way they are is similar to us, and I always wanted to go there. Plus, I love the accent.
Oh my God, the accent. Yeah, if you were going to put down a bucket list of traveling would be one thing, music would be another thing. But I'm thinking if it's bucket list and you're not going to count on other people or outside factors to happen, like a concert, a date, stuff like that. I don't know what I would do if something was like really personal as far as a bucket list. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm in the same, but I had that realization of like, yeah, I've always thought of Australia, and I guess it's not that deep of one, but it's the one that has through my whole life always been something I've wanted to do. Whereas like, go like when we're talking about concerts, right? Like when I was younger, I really wanted to go see. It's funny because I scratched two of the ones off that were on my younger list, and Black Sabbath and Our Lady Peace, and I did them both. So I guess that doesn't count, but there's concerts out there that I wanted to go see when I was younger that never happened, and it's not the end of the world, and since have now like changed. It's like, I couldn't bother to see that band anymore. Who cares? But Australia has always stayed the same.
Man. I would have to say, I don't know what kind of duration of time I would need or what kind of money I would need to do this. But I would need some time between finding the right vehicle, but I would drive out to Vancouver, whether it was in my vehicle now or some kind of van, get to Vancouver, hang a left, and drive right through, Seattle, California, Mexico, and just go on a road trip.
So just like that's an awesome one. So it would be travel based as well, eh? That's a cool trip.
It would be travel.
That's a cool trip. I like that. Yeah, I think a lot of my bucket listy things, definitely travel is attached to like 99% of them. It's going places, seeing things, and doing things. And I think that's a lot of people, right? Going to see the pyramids, going to the Grand Canyon, the 8 wonders of the world. But yeah, I like that one. Drive out to Vancouver and drive down that western seaboard. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I appreciate you giving me the time to come up with that.
It's a good one. Mine's out of the Western society, and mine's over in Aussie land, down under. Yeah, so those are the 10 deep, thought-provoking questions.
That's all 10 of them, eh?
Did they ever stir up some thought?
Oh, they sure did. They really stirred. Yeah, you got me going. I think we can do a 0.6 to follow up with this.
We could probably talk about some of those subjects literally for an hour each, but I tried to pace it along so we weren't sitting there humming and hawing for too long.
You know what? I think the next time we do something like this, we need a member of the opposite sex in on this, because I'm sure Terry would be good to hear the other side of this story.
Definitely. Agreed. Or just as many people as possible, because these questions between two people can get pretty deep, but between 4 minds or 5 minds or different female, male perspective changes it, and it'll add something to your chamber of thoughts. That's something you never thought of. I think that's the whole point of these conversations, is to hear differing opinions and be like, man, that makes sense. I never thought of it that way. That's the whole point of these conversations. So
All right. Did you
the more the
did you
merrier.
bookmark that page? Because we gotta
We gotta
we
reread
gotta
them.
relive this one. Yeah, we have
I
to relive this.
I could definitely bookmark it. Hold on, where was it? Oh no, did I lose it? No, I got it right here. Perfect. All right, man. Okay, here's your chance. Shot 2. Let's hear that sign off, Matt.
All right. Stay humble and be kind, my friends.
Oh my God, you